Hi, Shuki, and welcome to the 41st Annual San Francisco Jewish Film Festival. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you, and thank you very much for screening my film and for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I wanted to kick off with just, the first question, which is what was your personal connection to this material? Why did you set out to make this film?
Well, my personal connection, first of all, is I love football. This is the first thing. I think I love football, and I think generally I love sport, and I think sport is an amazing environment, an amazing tool to bring people together. If you look at sport all around the world, and especially in Israel, so you can find Jews and Arabs and all kind of people playing together. And at the end of the way, in sport, what matters is whether you are good or not, and not whether you are Jewish or you're Arab or you're or whatever your nationality is. And the thing that fascinates me is that from one side, sport is a very, very national and racist places. If you look at the fans, the things that you can hear in the sport courts with fans, sometimes it's terrible. In Israel, it's really things that you can hear from the fans are really terrible on one hand, but on the other hand, almost in all Israeli football teams, except one, Betar Jerusalem. I don't know if you know the story, but in Betar,
I do.
Yeah, so there's another great film from a few years ago about Betar Jerusalem and about the fact that Muslim players doesn't play in Betar Jerusalem, but it's the only team in Israel that Arabs or Muslims don't play in. In all other teams in Israel, in all the leagues, everywhere, you have Arab players. And also sports and football is a mobility tool in the society to upgrade your status. And all over the world, even if you look at players that come in from South America or from everywhere, so it's always, and so Arab players find themselves in all Israeli teams, playing in Tel Aviv, in Jerusalem, in Haifa, and all over. And I think it's great. And what fascinated me was these two ends of the story. On one end, racism and things that it's, I don't want to repeat on it, but things you don't want to hear and that are crazy. And on the other hand, I think it's the only place in Israel when Arab and when Muslim and Jews are equal, totally, and play together totally. By the way, I think there's maybe another place in Israel, which is the health hospitals and things like this. You can also find it, but football, this is the place that I think you can find.
Yeah. And I mean, in your film, in the moment that you're depicting the Israeli national team, I think over half of the players are Muslim and the captain as well, the first Muslim captain. And so your film really focuses on those subjects and not so much on the other members of the team. And I find what's such a strength of the film is that we get really in-depth view of your subjects, and they really get to speak for themselves, and we get to see, what they're facing from all sides in terms of their own, the criticisms that they face from all sides as they're just trying to focus on this game. And so I'm curious about your filmmaking decision to really spend most of the running time of the film on their voices and their stories and their perspectives rather than the full members of the team and their responses to what they're facing from the external world.
Okay, well, sometimes when you make film, films, some decisions you take by yourself, some decisions reality moves you into. So I must say the truth. I want to say the truth. The truth is that I didn't really got access into the team. As you can see, there are no I'm not filming inside the dressing room. I'm not filming in practices and in things like this. So this is a fact that I knew from the beginning, and I still wanted to do, of course, the film. And after I've talked with Israeli, I've checked all the possibilities, and I've talked with the Israeli players, and I've talked with the Arab players, and this is the decision I took, because finally I think this is what's interesting. What's interesting and what nobody is talking about is how an Arab player, a Muslim player, feels inside the national team. It is not. People say, you saw also in the film, they don't sing the anthem, they don't really feel Israelis, are they really? For an Arab player, for a Muslim player to wear the blue and white shirts and to play under the flag of Israel with the menorah on his chest is not something obvious. It's not obvious. And as you can see in the film, they get a lot of criticism also from the Arab world. So finally, after taking all of this under consideration, I took the decision to focus only on my players, to try and understand what's going on in their soul, in their mind, in their perspective.
Yeah, I understand. And then in light of that, I have a question about in the end of the film, we see when, I think it's the last scene of the film, one of the Israeli players comes to visit. Can you talk about why you decided to integrate that in the last scene, given, the lack of the access to the other interactions between the team members, and why you took that decision?
Why I took this decision. First of all, they are really good friends. It's Tomer Hamed, the Jewish player, and Biram Kial, the Arab player. They are really, they both played in England at the time. They are good friends. They're always talking about one another. And I wanted to end the film in optimistic point of view, because I think it's important. It's very easy to say everything is collapsing, everything, but I think it's important for Israel, for Israelis, for Arab, for the national team, for everybody to end this thing, to give some optimistic point of view on the thing. So this is why I decided to end this in this scene, to see that even though we didn't succeed, like the team failed in the tournament, okay? So even though the team failed, even though we didn't succeed, what's important about this team is not the sport success, is the success between the Arab and Jews in the team, and the fact that they're still good friends, and that we can work together, that we can live together. I think in the end of the way, not only for the national team, for Israel, this is the most important thing. To learn how to live together, learn how to cooperate, Arab and Jews.
Yeah, so, after the completion of the film, so many things are happening in the world. We've got the coronavirus, your country has gone through so many changes. Can you give us an update about what's happening with the national team now? I know the games are on TV and the players are back on the field. What's happening with the national team?
Actually, there's the Euro tournament now. We are not playing in the Euro tournament because we didn't succeed in the qualifiers, which this is what the film was about, the qualifying tournament. We didn't succeed, so we're not playing in the Euro. But there were a few games in the last year, and actually what happened in the last conflict that was in Israel a month ago only. So one of the players, Munas Dabur, the one that got married in the film, everybody must remember, everyone who saw the film, he posted a post in social media about Jerusalem, about Al-Aqsa, about something, not really politics, but close to politics, and there was a big thing about it in Israel, in all over the media, in the national team. And what happened is that the relationship inside the team started, the conflict got into the team, and it took a time out. I was it's very sad for me to talk about it, really, because I think it's terrible. But he right now he's not playing in the national team. He took a time out of the national team because of this thing, because of the conflict, because he could not make things right with the Jewish players on the team after what he wrote in social media. So the decision was the decision for him, for the coach together, that he's taking a time out. And he said he wants to go back to the national team in the future, but right now he's not in the national team because of what happened. That's it. Other two players, Biram Kial, the one that played in England, is no longer in the team, but is just he's 33 or 34, I think, something like this. And he came back to play in Israel, and it's just the coach didn't invite him to the team. And Bibas Nathu is still the captain. The captain is still the captain of the team. And that's it so far.
So, I mean, given the, discord during the most recent conflict, how is that shaping your feeling of the optimism regarding the future? What are your thoughts about both how things will unfold within the team, but also, the larger context of what you're seeing?
It's a tough question. I don't really have an answer for it. I can say personally, for me, during the last conflict, I was quite depressed. It felt like everything is collapsing. There were riots all over Israel. There were riots in Arab cities, in Jewish cities, the Arab killing Jews, Jews killing Arab. And everybody's talking about, I don't know what exactly you heard and what exactly people know about, but we had missiles coming from Gaza, but missiles were not the story in the last conflict, I think. The story was Arab Israelis and Jewish inside Israel fighting with one another. I can't say I was optimistic at the time, but things go by and things cure with time. If you look on Israeli politics, we have a new government, and we have an Arab party in the government now. It's the first time ever, and we have an Arab minister. So in politics, maybe, I don't know, maybe things are getting better in this aspect. So in Israel, you can never know, it's like a tango. We take two steps, one step ahead, two steps back. And I don't know exactly if we are in the step ahead or in the two steps back. I lost control already, but we try, and I'm trying to stay optimistic. I know for the people that want peace in the country, for the people that want to see Arab and Jews live together, we need to be strong, and we need to continue and believe that this is still possible. And I'm sure it is still possible, even though all what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, my final question is really just about the role of filmmakers, during this time, and what you think the role art and film can play in helping people get a window into, communities that they might not otherwise be familiar with, like, the characters in your film. We get a really close-up look and hear their voices. So what role do you think artists have in this moment? And also, what's next for you? Are you working on a new project? What are you thinking about in terms of your filmmaking career?
I must say that as I see myself, sometimes my film is now in festival abroad and everything, and I see my duty is like it's different inside Israel and outside of Israel. This is what I feel. I know not everybody feel like me, but when my films are outside of Israel, I feel responsibility to show a different perspective of Israel as people around the world see it. Inside Israel, the role is sometimes upside down because you want to show I don't know, I will speak in manners of good and bad, if you want also to show bad things. So I don't know, I'm thinking about my role as a filmmaker, but at the end of the way, I'm just touching subjects that interest me, that I want to say something about them. And I'm looking after my new film now. I don't know, I don't really know what it will be yet. I have 3 stories now that I'm checking and trying to film them and see if I can get ahead with them. None of them is about sport. None of them is about Jewish and Arab. It's completely different. And I hope maybe, I cannot say too much right now because I don't have a lot to say about these new ideas, but I hope maybe we'll meet again in 2 or 3 years or however long it will take me to finish the.
Oh, yeah, I hope so. It would be wonderful. So thank you so much again for sharing your wonderful film with all of us here at the San Francisco Jewish Film Festival. And we really look forward to seeing what comes next.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks for all the people that watched the film, and I hope everybody enjoyed it.
Thanks so much. Take care.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.